Welcome to South Asia Maps Intellectual Kshatriya channel. This is your presenter J. Reddy at South Asia Maps. South Asia Maps brings you the culture heritage of South Asian region in the form of maps, icons and images for the audience. If you are not aware, please go to YouTube channel, type South Asia Maps plus J. Reddy, and I already posted large number of audios for your intellectual pleasure, learning, enjoyment, meticulously made diagrams, maps, pictures redrawn, hundreds and hundreds of hours of work, and already there are 90 or so videos for you. You can go and look at them and you will appreciate the greatness of ancient civilization India. That is about South Asia Maps. South Asia Maps, J. Reddy. Coming back to our today's topic of discussion, excuse me for my allergies. Today we will discuss about a time zone, the universal time or global time or GMT. It is used to be called, that is the Greenwich Mean Time. There is some peculiarity about the mean time on a particular parallel called latitude, round about 27.28.55 northern parallel at YADONG town in Tibet, today under People's Republic of China. And that's what is the point of discussion today. We will discuss about it. Excuse me. So this is the globe you have. The globe has around about 360 degrees around the equator, and there are only 24 hours on the planet Earth. That today we have divided. That means if you take the 360 divide by 24, you can see here 15 degrees. That means for every 15 degrees there is a 1 hour time difference. That means that convention was developed in Britain and it was accepted, like observatory in Britain, London, a place called Greenwich will be taken as a standard zero time. As you move across every 15 degrees, there will be a 1 hour ahead, because we are going towards the east. If you go towards the west, that is 1 hour less for every 15 degrees. So rule of the thumb is, suppose if you are starting at GMT Greenwich and you are moving towards east, here we are doing, the time has to increase. Here we are in Maghreb region, that is Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya. This is 1 hour, and Libya and Egypt is 2 hours here. Then Saudi Arabia 3 hours we gained. Then Iran we entered, is a 3.5 hours of GMT ahead. Then Afghania you get 4.5 hours. Then you go to Pakistan 5 hours, then you go to India 5.5 hours, then you go to Nepal 5:45, then you go to Burma 6:30, then you go to Thailand and Indochina, that is Vietnam 7 o'clock, then you go to Singapore somewhere here 8 or China 8, you enter into Korea, that is 9, you enter into Japan, that is 9 again, that is almost Central Australia, and leave East Coast Australia maybe 10.5, I don't remember. Then you have Polynesian region 11, and somewhere here you go to New Zealand, that is 12. That means as we move along the parallel towards the east, the time always increases. But there is one peculiarity at this particular parallel, at a town revolving around a town, Yadong, that today we'll discuss about what is that peculiarity and why this happened. Before that, I would like to keep you overall informed or give you a broader context of this region. This region is also very important critically. This is the northeastern India, the part. That means very small corridor separates with the rest of India. There is a large-scale Islamization of East Bengal and already seceded from the Hindu territories during 1947 partition, and there is a large-scale Christian activity even during the British time. They didn't allow any other people to go to that area, and it was given to missionaries for conversion. There are small kingdoms, Nepal, Bhutan, and Sikkim at that time, later princely states, and later Sikkim merged with India. And there is a very big, there used to be a friendly empire, Qing Empire or Manchurian Empire ruling the China. Later, after the civil war in mid-1940s, communist imperialists took over the land. So these three imperialistic ideologies, communist imperialism, Christian imperialism, and Islamic imperialism, all have their own designs to detach this area from Bharat and make a separate entity. Overall, you have to keep that in mind. That's why this topic I have brought in, even though that may not be anything to do with that, but because we are dealing about the land, I would like to keep you broadly aware of that. This is the kingdom of Nepal. Now, after the royal family assassination, a republic was made. That used to be princely state of Sikkim. Gangtok is the capital. Nepal is the capital of Kathmandu is the capital of Nepal. And this is a Chumbi Valley. This is the Tibet region. I have shown Tibet here. Chumbi Valley is a valley in the Himalayan mountains between the Sikkim on the west and Bhutan on the east. Capital of Bhutan is Thimphu. Then we have Tawang. Then we have Itanagar, Arunachal, and so on. This is the Taroy region of Nepal here, bordering Mithilanchal and Awadh. This area called is Dwars. Dwars means Sanskrit word a gateway to northeastern India, Assam territory. That is Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri, Kuch Bihar. In the lower Assam valley we have Goalpara, then we have Kamarupa, Darang, and Sibsagar, Dibrugarh, and all those areas. This is the Rangapur region of East Bengal, Dinajpur, Rangapur, Rajashahi, all those areas, Bengal. This is the Meghalaya. This is Garo Hills. This is Khasi Hills. This is Jayantia Hills. Shillong Plateau will be somewhere here. The time, the India follows a time 5:30 ahead of Greenwich. I have mentioned 5:30 here. Nepal is 5:45. Bengal, that is Bangladesh, is 6 o'clock. Bhutan is also 6 o'clock. And the problem comes, China follows a very big country, a time zone of 8. That means when you are coming from Iran, that is 3:30. In Saudi Arabia somewhere there will be 3:30 hours, 3.3. Then Iran is 3:30. Then if you go to Iran, Afghania, Kabul, Kandahar, that will be 4:30. If you do not want to go that way and come to Balochistan and Sindh, that is 5. That is Pakistan follows here. The Pakistan follows 5 hours ahead of GMT. Then you enter into Rajputana in India. That is 5:30. So far, so good. You have 5:30. You came for 3 in Saudi Arabia, 3:30 in Iran, and 5 in Pakistan, and 5:30 in India. Then you enter into Nepal 5:45. So far so good. The time is increasing. We are traveling towards on the same parallel 27 degrees. Something has mentioned it, 27.28 towards the east. Then you enter into Sikkim. The Sikkim is Indian territory. So at Gangtok you will see because from 5 you at Delhi, this area Gorakhpur, you get round about 5:30. Then enter to Kathmandu 5:45. Again the time falls at Gangtok to 5:30. It is not increasing, it is falling. And you enter into Yatung. Yatung is a town in the Chumbi Valley. That area, a type of a district called Yadong. Sometimes people use Yatung, Yadong unanimously, but that's the difference. Now the time is 8. It is increased. That means from 5:30 all of a sudden time jumped to the 8. No problem. Then you enter into Bhutanese territory within a few kilometers, maybe 10-15 kilometers or so. Go to Thimphu. The time is 6. The time has fallen. We are moving on 27 towards the east. The time has fallen. That is very strange. And continue on Bhutan 6 o'clock and enter in territory. The time is again falling. The time didn't increase at all. Instead of increasing, it is decreasing. Then leave Arunachal Pradesh and enter into Kachin territory, that is Burma or Burmese territory or Myanmar. The time becomes 6:30, 5:30 to 6:30. The time is increasing. And then enter into Thailand area. Time will become 7. Then enter to Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Johor, Penang, and all those areas. Time is 8. Then enter into Philippines 8 and China also 8 and Philippines, Korea, Japan 9. There is no problem. So you see here is very strange situation here. 5 in Pakistan, 5:30 in India, 5:45 in Nepal. So far so good. Then from 5:45 to 5:30 in Gangtok, Sikkim. Then Chumbi, that is 8 o'clock all of a sudden. The time from 5:30 become 8 o'clock. Then Bhutan, it drops to 2 o'clock. And after Bhutan, still it further drops instead of increasing to Arunachal Pradesh 5:30. Afterwards, the time is gained. That's the normal. This is the time that people and the governments decided for a particular region. Nothing wrong about it, but we are discussing about a quite peculiarity. The local time called natural time, the people, they don't see any difference, very minor difference. Kathmandu, Gangtok, Yatung, and Thimphu, and Tawang here. This is called natural time or local time, or across in Duars, that is Kalimpong or Kursiang and Darjeeling, Cooch Behar, Jolpaiguri, and Goalpara, and all those regions, they follow the. If you see at normal time, that will be quite normal. That is a natural time. Here I have shown the 27 degrees latitude. This is 2 hours GMT, that is 1 hour GMT is the Algeria, 2 hours is Egypt, 3 hours is Saudi Arabia, 3.5 is Persia, Iran, 5.5 is India. And this is the Hainan Island of People's Republic of China. This is the Taiwan, an independent, semi-independent country recognized by some. So, before that we should know what is a meridian. I have put a globe here. See here you can see the England, London, and the lines which are pole to pole are called longitudes. Meridian is one such longitude. This is the equator going around the earth on Singapore and Quito in Ecuador, this side in South America. Equator is a parallel. Again the line parallel is a longitude. Again a line parallel is latitude. Latitude are the parallel lines. Equator is the biggest parallel line, and we are talking about 27 degrees. Because these are parallel, each degree is round about 110 kilometers or so roughly. So that's about the meridian from pole to pole meridian. The parallel lines along the equator are latitudes, parallel lines. India, you see India here, that is from Kutch region after partition to Kamrup region, there is round about 2933 kilometers. That means 3000 kilometers. As I mentioned, 1 degree latitude you can take approximately 100 broadly, but actually 111 kilometers 1 degree. That means this comes around about 29 degrees or 30 degrees India. That means the east-west dimensions, the largest is 29 degrees, that is round about 3000 kilometers. Remember, 15 degrees along the parallel, you will get 1 hour. That means India technically can have 2 hours time zone. That means in Pragjotishapura in Arunachal Assam Valley and Bhuj in Kutch, there can be 2 hours natural time. But for political reasons or any other regions, the Indian government decided to have only 1 time zone. And the point that is taken for time zone has to be 5.5 hours. 5 hours means 15 and 5 equals to round about 15, 5, 75 degrees. And again you add 7.5 or 7, that means round about 81 or 82 degrees on the eastern longitude, that is east of meridian. That is a place called Shankargarh Fort, that is near Prayag, Allahabad. So thus the point is taken to calculate the time in India. That is the Shankargarh Fort, Prayag, Allahabad, 5.5 hours east of UTC or GMT. You have to remember Delhi is exactly in 28 degrees north parallel, that is north of the equator, and round about 77 degrees. That means round about it will get 15 multiplied by 5, 75. That means the natural time at Delhi is round about 5. But from Delhi, if you go to little bit east, along the Doab region, the lower Doab ends at Prayag, Allahabad. That is, Prayag is actually 81 degrees, 51 minutes, and so on. So that will be 5.5 hours. That is a place called Shankargarh. That's why the Indian Standard Time is 5.5 hours ahead of GMT. That is calculated from a place called Shankargarh near Prayag Tirthraj, or also called Islamized name is Allahabad. Because India has 3000 kilometers from Kutch to Kamrup, that fits into 29 degrees or 30 degrees roughly. China, on the other hand, here I have mentioned somewhere China. China, on the other hand, has around about 5200 kilometers. China from bordering Afghanistan here to here bordering Russia and Japan and Korea has a 52,000 square kilometers. That is something round about 50 degrees or so. That means China can have at least 4 time zones very comfortably. 4 time zones means 45 is 3, and again 52 is 3.5. So 3 to 4 time zones it have, but it has only 1 time zone. That time zone they have taken based upon the basing area. that is 8 hours. So the problem of this unique time comes in the Chumbi Valley, that is Yatung town in the Yadong district of Tibet of People's Republic of China, because the government of China decided to have a time zone, such a vast country coast to coast at 8 hours GMT. That is the reason. So here I am mentioning Kathmandu. See, we are going along this line parallel to the equator. So Kathmandu is around about 27, Yatung is 27. These are not that important. We are almost going parallel. I have taken here big towns. Kathmandu 28 degrees north of equator, Yatung, that is Yadong, is 27.28, Gangtok 27.33, Thimphu in Bhutan 27.28. These are all the parallel. What we are taking is meridian, east of meridian, that is the longitude 84, 88, 88, 89. All we are looking at the nearby areas. There is a town called Kashgar that is in the Tarim Basin, Xinjiang or Xinjiang or Uyghur province, Muslim majority province of China. China again has a very big Muslim problem. Muslims anywhere are a problem to the native people. That's a different story. We are not talking here. Kashgar is one such prominent historic city and town in the Xinjiang. They speak a language called Uyghur that is close to Turkish language, a branch of Turkish language like Azeri language, or what Babur spoke, Chagatai language like that. That is, Kashgar is on 39 degrees. It is east of 70 degrees meridian, I see. Whereas the Beijing is 126. In the eastern part of China, there is a town called Harbin that is 126. And the easternmost part of China is 130. ZZ, that is close to Amur River and Korea. Here, this is ZZ, a town. So if you subtract 130 from 75, you get 25 here, 200, then you get 30 here. 25, 35 is almost 55. That is the 55 is the longitudinal range of China. Whereas India is around about 29 or 30. So India can have 2 time zones. China can have more than 3 time zones. But China follows only 1 time zones. That's the point here we are trying to make for your convenience. So this is the GMT peculiar time zone along. So here I am showing the town Yadong. See, this is Nepal, the Republic of Nepal or Kingdom Nepal, Tibet. This is the Tibet region, and this is the Tibet region. This is the Tibet region. This is Xinjiang region and other regions. The important point is Sikkim is here, Bhutan is here, Yatung is a town that is in the Chumbi Valley. This is Brahmaputra river here, Brahmaputra Gorge, Arunachal region here. This is Brahmaputra river, this is Subansuri river, this is Kameng river, and this is Gandak river, and so on. This is Rakosi mountains, Rakash mountains, and Manas Sarovar. Yatung town is at a coordinates of Yatung, 27 degrees north, that is the parallel, 88 degrees is the longitude, and Gangtok is almost close to that. Thimphu is also very close to that. Historically, China used to have 3 time zones. That is Xinjiang and time. This is a Kunlun mountains, a Kunlun 4 time zones. 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 5 time zones it used to have. Kunlun mountain range time, Xinjiang Tibet time zone, and Kansu and Sichuan. Sichuan is important basin, rice growing area in People's Republic of China. Chengdu is the capital, that is the central part, one time zone, and Central Standard, that is Hope, Honan, Hupe, Hunan, and Hainan Island, Hong Kong or Guangdong region. These are the historic regions. Eastern part, Chinese Plains. This is the Standard, Beijing, Nanking, and all those historic cities reside here. And the eastern part are Manchurian time zone, that is Chiangpai. This is the Taiwan or Formosa Island, and this is the Hainan Island close to Vietnam. So it used to have 5 time zones. Now it has only 1 time zone. And Chumbi Valley will be somewhere here. That is, as we move along. So what we have seen is Nepal and Sikkim and Yadong, Chumbi Valley and Bhutan. GMT and peculiar time zones along 27.28.55 seconds. The degrees, minutes and seconds, northern parallel. This is the northern parallel, north of equator, as we move from Morocco to almost Japan. And if we hit Yadong in the Chumbi Valley of Tibet, so many times you come across, this is due to the policy decisions of the local governments. Within round about 10-20 kilometers, you will see in the Dwars 5:30 hours, Gangtok 5:30, and Nepal 5:45, in Tibet 8 o'clock, in Bhutan 6 o'clock, in Bangladesh 6 o'clock, and as you move ahead in the same 27 parallel, enter into Arunachal Pradesh, again it falls to 5:30. Across the border in Tibet and Yunnan, there will be a time of 8 o'clock, and so on. That is about Bhutan, Chumbi Valley, Yadong, Sikkim, those regions, and a very peculiar time. If you go and look at the map, we'll see the map. This is the Google map we are looking at, and so this is the GMT observatory here, 0 degrees. This is the Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and the Portugal follows the same GMT time, that is 0 starting with. Then most of the European countries, they follow 2 degrees, 1 hour ahead. That is all these countries. Few European countries like Ukraine, they fall into 2. That is same as the 2 hours means same as Egypt and Libya, the 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and Morocco also follows 1 and 2, Libya and Egypt. Then you enter into Turkey and Saudi Arabia, 3 o'clock ahead of GMT. Plus that means deviation of 3 hours. Then Iran follows 3.5 hours. We are moving from Maghreb region to Mashriq. Maghreb means a Persian Arabic word for west, and Mashriq means Arabic word for east. Maghreb to Mashriq. Then 3.5 hours in Persia, Iran. Then 4.5 hours in Afghania. 5 hours in Sindh, Balochistan, West Punjab and Pakhtunkhwa. 5 hours here. Enter into India, 5.5, because our Indian time is calculated from Allahabad, Prayag, at round about 82 degrees east of the meridian, that is the longitude. We are still on 23 degrees here. Delhi will be somewhere on 28 and 77, and instead of 28, if you take a little detour, go to 27 and cross into Tarai and Nepal, Kathmandu, that is 5:45. The time has increased. Go to Sikkim, then time has fallen to 5:30, is Indian territory. Go to Yadong, Chumbi Valley or Yatung town there, close to Darjeeling and Gangtok and Thimphu. The time is all of a sudden 8 o'clock. That is Chinese time. This is the Chinese time, right? Then go to Bhutan. The time becomes 6 o'clock in Bhutan. Go to Arunachal, becomes 5:30. After Arunachal, the standard process, as you move towards the east, the time increases. In Burmese territory here, that is the Kachin state and so on, is 6:30. Then you go to Vietnam and Laos, Cambodia, that is 7 o'clock. Then the mainland China follows 8 o'clock. That is same as Singapore and Malaysia, that is Malay mainland. Then you go to Korea, that is 9, Japan is 9, and Korea, Japan are 9. And certain parts, Western Australia, I think it is 8, same as Singapore, this part may be 10. Australia also has a complicated time. The point is, when you go to near Fiji, all those areas, round about 11, and New Zealand is round about 12 o'clock. So the time increases standardly. So this is Google Map YADONG. Sometimes the Chinese, Pinyin English and Standard Chinese and Old Chinese pronunciation, New Chinese pronunciation. So sometimes the Anglicization of their alphabets will be little different, that you can keep in mind. There is a Chumbi Valley, like you previously used to call Xinjiang, now they call Xinjiang. They used to call like Tibet, they called it different names, so on, like Pinyin, Chinesization. Previously it's called Peking, now it's called Beijing and so on. So YADONG, that's the important, and Pagri, this is the Thimphu in Bhutan, that's important. YADONG town, we are in Chumbi Valley. This finger-like region is a Chumbi Valley, Gangtok here, and you see Darjeeling and Kalimpong, Siliguri, Jalpaiguri, of course. This and Coach Bihar and so on, Arunachal Pradesh and Bhutan and Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh and so on. And as we move towards to Myanmar or Burma, and the time increases. That is about the time. See, remember, from China is a vast country, right? It is like after Russia, there are 3 countries almost similar in area, that is Canada, United States, China. Which has more area, which has less, depends upon how you look at it. If you take the water masses, water area, water bodies, one country comes little bit up, other country goes down. So that's not critical. 3 countries has similar area, around about 9.8 million square kilometers. You can make it 10. So the China, there is a river called Amur River, the border between China and Soviets. Russia here, the Russian port Vladivostok here. From here to here, we have seen earlier, round about 52 degrees longitude separates, or 53 degrees. That is, I think 55 degrees actually. More than 5,000 kilometers. They can conveniently have 3.5 hours time zone, or even 4. They conservatively 3, but they have only one time zone. That's why the entire problem, this situation came. The time zone issue, and if you look at the same thing, the time zones. See, if you are in anywhere in the planet Earth, you can roughly remember what is the time. 15 degrees moving this way, that way is a 1 hour difference on the longitude. So longitude means the line parallel to the meridian. The meridian is a big pole-to-pole line at GMT. Greenwich is an observatory in London. Same like a Shankargarh, we have seen observatory in the fort town near Prayag, Allahabad, in the Doab region of Gangetic plains. So we are moving ahead. These are the times. So take for example New York area is around about 60 degrees, means that is round about 4 degrees west of Greenwich Mean Time. And here you can see the longitudes. Based upon the longitudes, you can figure it out, approximate time. So we are here, California. Here I can see round about, I didn't read. This is round about 120 degrees means you can see 8 times. That is 80 plus 40 is 120 in the California region. But sometimes local political considerations or sovereign states may have a different time. That is a totally different thing. And that's why the America has nearly major 4 time zones: the New York time zone and Chicago time zone, and the Mountain time zone and Pacific time zone, then Alaskan time zone, and of course Hawaiian time zone. So that is in brief about the time zones, and the same thing I have shown here with little more clarity. Here we see only the Algeria. This is the 0. Portugal and Britain follows 0 GMT. The Maghreb region, they follow 1 hour, and Libya and Egypt, Maghreb follow 2 hours. Saudi Arabia, Iraq and this Mesopotamia and Levant, they follow Turkey 3 hours. You can see 3 o'clock, 3 here, then Iran 3.5 hours. Afghania 4.5 hours, Pakistan, Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan, those 5 hours, and India 5.5 hours, Nepal 5:45, Bhutan 6, Bangladesh 6. That means this area is called Wakhan corridor. It's like a panhandle. Historically, that is the buffer zone between northern Soviet Empire, Russian Empire, and southern the British Empire, and Maharaja Hari Singh's territory, Hari Singh Dogra's territory. That's called Wakhan corridor. And at that corridor you will see 4.5 hours here and 5.5 hours in Maharaja's territory before partition, and 8 o'clock in the Chinese territory. So the vast area, here I have shown the Nepal for clarity, and Chumbi Valley here. That's what we looked at today. In general, we essentially looked at, as we are moving along the east in the longitude, the time on the parallel, if you are moving along east from Greenwich towards Japan, New Zealand, the time has to increase, and it does increases. But at one particular place called Yadong district of Chumbi Valley of Tibet, the time drastically changes. You will see so many variations: 5:30, 5:45, and 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and again 5:30, and so on. This is due to the very difference in the Chinese time zone, because China follows only one time, that is a very big country, 8 east of ahead of GMT, whereas this within 30-40 kilometers, so many countries follow little bit different time zones. That's the why the variation occurs, peculiarity as we see. But natural time, the local time based upon the sun, will be the same. So we have essentially seen meridians and latitudes, longitudes. The Chinese east to west area 5200 kilometers, India around about 3000 kilometers, 2 time zones, 3 plus time zones natural, the central observatory here at Shankargarh, and latitudes, longitudes of all these regions in general. This is your presenter J. Reddy at South Asia Maps, and I appreciate you joining me today, and we will continue to look at other things in near future. Thank you very much, and see you later. That is about the GMT peculiar times along 27.2855 degrees north parallel at Yadong town, Tibet, Chumbi Valley in Republic of China.